Before we begin today's video, I would like to give a shout out to two of our newest subscribers. Stray Horde and... I'm sorry, I don't know how to read Hebrew. I'm going to put this into Google Translate real quick, so I do apologize if I pronounce this incorrectly, but Google Translate calls you... Rome Bruston. I hope that was pronounced correctly, Mr. Rome. I do apologize if that was pronounced incorrectly. But in either case, I thank you both for subscribing, and welcome to the family. And now, on with today's video. Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Drahan, and welcome back to Pathfinder Hero Flux. That is Flux, short for fluctuation. In this series, we take a look at characters from across media and bring them into Pathfinder 2nd Edition, using the character's lore to create a playable character. And today we are looking at Charizard from the hit anime and game series, Pokémon. One of the 3 starters from the Kanto region, Charizard is a fan favorite among the Pokémon community, and there is a good reason why. And I actually got the idea to finally do Charizard in Pathfinder 2nd Edition when I was asked to do Agumon. So let's go ahead and get straight into things. And at first I was going to go with Kobold for Charizard's ancestry, and I was going to do the Gripply for Venusaur, but it's when I got to Blastoise that I realized that I was overthinking things. What exactly are Pokemon? They are, more often than not, animals. There are a lot of plants, and a few humanoids, some aliens, some viruses, and even some sentient items. But more often than not, Pokemon are going to be animals in one form or another. And this is just what the 3 starter Pokemon are. They are animals. Blastoise is a turtle. Venusaur is stated to be based off of a frog. Horned frog specifically. And Charizard, more specifically Charmander, which is what we're going to have to start with for this build, is a lizard Pokemon. Charizard's Japanese name is even Lizardon. So we are going to have an animal ancestry, which thankfully we have just that. But before we get into that, I want to talk about our stats. Charizard's stats, according to the Pokemon game, have an average of 78 HP, 84 attack, 78 defense, 109 special attack, 85 special defense, and 100 speed, making special attack and speed our highest priority, second to attack and special defense, with HP and defense being our lowest, quote-unquote. So we are going to have to translate that into our stats for Pathfinder. So here's what I come up with for our starting stats. These will change later on, so do not worry. Strength, dexterity, wisdom, and charisma will be getting our starting increases, making them each 12. Constitution and intelligence will be our lower 2. Now we are going to need to choose our ancestry and heritage. So for our ancestry, we are going with the awakened animal, which we can find in Howl of the Wild. We actually did a video on the awakened animal not too far back. So if you would like some more information on this ancestry, I would recommend checking it out. For our heritage, we are going with the Ifrit. This is the Fire Elemental Geniekin. Thanks to the awakened animal, our constitution, wisdom, and charisma are each going to be increased by 2, with our intelligence being decreased by 2, making it an 8. For other stats, we have our hit points, which we're going with a size medium, meaning 8 hit points. I decided to go with a medium-sized creature because at the end of this video, we are going to have Charizard, who is only 5 foot 7 inches tall, which is the average size for a human. Speed is going to be 20 feet, since we are getting a versatile heritage instead of one of the awakened animals' heritages. Next is our language. We are going with common plus our intelligence modifier, which isn't really that many. If anything, we would not have any extra languages, so we're going to be ignoring that. Next is Awakened Form and Awakened Mind. Pretty useful. And for our Ancestry feat, we are going with the Ifrit's own Bright Soul. This is because Charmander has a flame on its tail, which, according to Pokédex entries, shows the strength of its life force. If it is weak, the flame also burns weakly. If it is healthy, the flame burns brightly. And even if this flame gets wet, it will burn vigorously. So we definitely want to go with the Bright Soul lineage, which states, the fire inside you asserts itself as beaming radiant light. Your body is naturally luminescent, glowing with the effects of the primal light cantrip. You could flavor this to just be the tip of your tail. A cantrip is heightened to a spell level equal to half of your level rounded up. The light is involuntary and constant. If counteracted, it returns in 1d4 rounds. You suffer a -2 circumstance penalty on stealth checks to hide or sneak, and gain a +1 circumstance bonus on saves against light effects and effects that inflict the blinded or dazzled conditions, which is pretty good. Next is our background. We are going with elementally infused fire. This will increase our wisdom and charisma each by 2, give us access to the skill Plane of Fire lore, and a primal innate cantrip, Ignition, which is going to be our Ember stand-in. Next is our class. We are going with the Sorcerer, but we're going to pick the Archetype Elementalist. This is going to change how the Sorcerer behaves a little bit. Not by much from what I've read, but it will change it slightly. This will give us a +2 to our Charisma, and we are going to pick the Bloodline of Elemental Fire, with our Elemental Philosophy being Core Elementalism, and the Elementalist focus spell is going to be Wildfire. I didn't see any Pokemon equivalent for the spell Wildfire, though if I had to guess, it would be Fire Spin, but I am not positive on that one. For your hit points, you're going to be increasing your hit points by 6, plus your Constitution modifier. You're trained in Perception. You are also trained in Fortitude and Reflex saving throws, and are an expert in Will saving throws. For your skills, you will be trained in Athletics, Intimidation, and Nature. For your attacks, you are trained in Simple Weapons and Unarmed Attacks. For your defenses, you are not trained in Armor, but you are trained in Unarmored Defense. For spellcasting, you'll be using your Charisma modifier and the Primal Spell list. Normally, thanks to the Elementalist archetype, this is going to be changed to the Elementalist spell sheet. So be looking at the Elementalist spell list for any spells that you are looking for. You also get access to Blood Magic and Sorceress Potency. Now, for your Elemental Sorcerer adjustments, since we are picking the Elementalist archetype. If you're a sorcerer with the Elemental Bloodline, you can replace your initial Bloodline spell with an initial spell, Elemental Focus spell, and your Advanced Bloodline spell with an Advanced Elemental Focus spell. The initial and Advanced Elemental Focus spells you select must have the same trait as your Elemental Bloodline. The list of Elemental Focus spells is on page 60. At level 2 Sorcerer, we are going to be getting the class feat of Elementalist Dedication. This is an automatic. We do not have a choice in the matter since we picked the Elementalist archetype. This dedication requires the Elementalist class archetype. This is where I went wrong with the Suicune build. I was trying to figure out how to get this dedication feat, and it is automatic when you pick the Sorcerer Elementalist or any other class Elementalist. Each day, when you make your daily preparations, you can attune yourself to one element of your choice from your elemental philosophy. You gain resistance equal to half your level, minimum of 1 resistance, against the damage dealt by effects with your attuned elemental trait. We are always going to be going with fire. We are not going to be changing that. We are also going to be getting the skill feat of Intimidating Glare. If I remember correctly, Charmander can learn Leer, but at later levels, Charizard can learn Scary Face, so that is going to be very useful. Next is level 3. We are now experts in athletics. For our feat, we are going with Ancestral Paragon, which is going to give us the Ancestry feat of Awakened Magic. You can go with either Eat Fire or Gouging Claw. At first, I was going to go with Eat Fire since it gave us an ability similar to Smokescreen. But Gouging Claw is very similar to the move Slash. We also get access to signature spells. At 4th level Sorcerer, we get the class feat of Widen Spell and the skill feat of Hefty Holler. Thanks to Widen Spell, the next action you use is to cast a spell that has an area of a burst, cone, or line. Add 5 feet to the radius of the burst. That normally has a radius of at least 10 feet. Add a 5 foot to the length of a cone or line that is normally 15 feet long or smaller. And add 10 feet to the length of a larger cone or line. And with Hefty Holler, we get to increase the maximum and encumbered bulk limit by 2. Moving on to 5th level, increase your strength, dexterity, constitution, and intelligence each by 2. Since we have increased our intelligence, we are going to be trained in a new skill. Go with survival. We are also going to be experts in intimidation. For your ancestry feat, we are going to get access to Wild Stride. This is going to give us the ability to stride twice using this action, and we gain a +5 circumstance bonus to our speed for the strides, or a +10 circumstance bonus if our 2 hands are free. Which normally they will be since we do not have proficiency in any weapons. Well, except simple weapons, but we're mostly going to be using our claws. Don't worry, we'll be getting into that shortly. Moving on to 6th level, we are going to get the class feat of Burning Spell and the skill feat of Lasting Coercion. Burning Spell. You enhance your spell with elemental fire, causing it to set the target on fire. If the next action you use is to cast a non-cantrip spell that deals damage at a single target, the spell deals additional persistent fire damage equal to the spell's rank. In addition to other effects, this has no effect if the spell already deals persistent fire damage. The spell gains the fire trait. So that's pretty useful. Lasting Coercion. When you successfully coerce someone, the maximum time they comply increases to a week, still determined by the GM. If you're legendary, the maximum increases to a month. At level 7, we are now experts in survival, our feat is going to be fleet, and we are now expert spellcasters. Level 8, we're going to get the class feat of Advanced Bloodline, giving us access to the Elementalist Advanced Bloodline spell, Combustion, which is going to be similar to Inferno. We also get access to the skill feat, Powerful Leap. Now at level 9, we are going to get access to the Master Skill of Athletics and an Ancestry feat of Late Awakener, which gives us access to the heritage of Winged Animal. Late Awakener can only be accessed if we have a versatile heritage, which we do. This will let us get access to everything that the winged animal or flying animal gains access to. The awakening process has disrupted your ability to fly as freely as you once did. What used to be an automatic process is now one that you must apply some thought to until it becomes automatic once again. You can still slow your descent so you take no damage from falling, regardless of the distance you fall. Most flying awakened animals choose the Take Flight Ancestry feat at first level to regain a limited ability to fly. Your land speed is 20 feet, and you gain 1 animal attack of your choice. This is going to be our Claws attack, since we only have clawing attacks as a Charmander up to Charmeleon and Charizard. So we are technically a Charizard at this point, since we now have our wings, but we cannot fly. Just slowly descend. And I did not read this properly when I was making this build, because I put Catfall as one of our skill feats later on in this build. You also have access to Reflex Expertise. At level 10, go ahead and increase your Strength, Constitution, and Wisdom each by 2, and increase your Charisma by 1. For your class feat, you'll get access to your Greater Bloodline spell. And for your skill feat, you get access to Quick Jump. Level 11, you are now expert in nature. For your feat, go for Incredible Initiative, and you'll also get Perception Expertise and Weapon Expertise. Level 12, your class feat is going to be Cross-Blooded Evolution. We're going with Draconic Divine. You get access to your blood magic, which is going to be Scaly Hide. And you also get the skill feat of Titan Wrestler. At level 13, we are now Masters in Intimidation, and we're going to get the Ancestry feat of Take Flight, which is going to give us a flying speed of 15 feet. Some ancestry feats we'll be getting later will increase this speed, so do not worry about that. We also get access to defensive robes. At level 14, we are going with the class feat of Winged Warrior Dedication. With the Winged Warrior Dedication, we can only gain access to this if we have permanent wings, which we do. Our horizontal leap is increased by 10 feet up to the maximum speed, and any fly speed granted by ancestry feats and other permanent wings increases by 5 feet. So currently, that means we have a flying speed of 20 feet. We also get access to the skill feat Assurance, in which we will be picking Intimidation for our skill. At level 15, go ahead and increase your Constitution and Intelligence each by 2, and increase your Wisdom and Charisma each by 1. We are now trained in Acrobatics, and we'll go ahead and increase our Acrobatics straight to Expert. For our feat, we are going with Die Hard, and we are now Master Spellcasters. At level 16, we are going to get access to the class feat of Battering Wings. Battering Wings gives us a wing unarmed attack that deals 1d4 bludgeoning damage, which has the Agile, Finesse, and Unarmed traits, and is in the Brawling group. This is going to be our stand-in for Wing Attack. However, we are going to be improving this a little bit further and actually have an ability that is similar to Wing Attack. So just hold off on your comments until we get to that point. And yes, I did put the skill feat as Catfall. You can change this to another skill feat that you want. I didn't realize that the flying animal had access to an ability similar to Catfall. Next is level 17 Sorcerer. We are now legendary in Athletics. We are going for the ancestry feat of Strong of Wing, which gives us access to a flying speed of 25 feet. And thanks to the Winged Warrior dedication from earlier, our flying speed is now 30 feet. We also have access to Majestic Will. Now, at level 18, we're going to go ahead and improve our ability that is similar to Wing Attack by getting access to the class feat of Sonic Strafe? However that's supposed to be pronounced. Anyway, you can now achieve such flight speeds that your passage splits the very air. Fly twice. Any creature that is adjacent to you at any point during your movement takes 10d6 sonic damage. Basic fortitude save against your class DC. On a critical failure, the creature is also deafened for 1 hour. Pretty neat. We also gain access to the skill feat of Cloud Jump. Level 19 Sorcerer. We are now masters in survival. We're going to grab the feat of Toughness. We are also a Bloodline Paragon and Legendary Spellcaster. And finally, level 20. Go ahead and increase your Strength, Dexterity, and Intelligence by 2, and increase your Wisdom by 1. We are now trained in Religion. For our class feat, we're going with the Greater Cross-Blooded Evolution, which gives us access to 3 Sorceress Gift spells granted by our secondary bloodline, which was Divine Draconic Bloodline. It says up to 3, but I decided that you only really needed 2, Divine Immolation and Dragon Form, which is going to give us access to a form similar to Mega Charizard X. You could also pick a third. I would probably recommend Haste, but that's just me. It does say up to 3, so yeah. You add these spells to your spell repertoire, heightened to the highest strength of your spells you can cast, or to the highest rank they can be heightened to, that is lower than the highest rank of spells you can cast. You can cast these spells as their tradition for your primary bloodline. And you also get access to the skill feat of Terrifying Resistance. The spells of those you have demoralized are less effective on you. If you succeed in demoralizing a creature, for the next 24 hours, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to saving throws against that creature's spells, which is pretty useful. And there we have it. What did you think of this build for Charizard? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would have put a spell list here for any spells I thought would be necessary for a Charizard build, but I couldn't figure out all the spells that would be necessary. There was one spell that was very similar to the Gigantamax Charizard, which was Elemental Embodiment, I believe. But anyway, that is all I have for you today. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again next time when I am online.